Welcome everyone, this is your own channel Lana Saga. In this video we will discuss the concluding portion of the story The Snake and the Mirror. The story, as you know, it's a narrative within a narrative and it has been retold by the author. Actually the story was told by the homeopathy doctor. He told the story to our writer and his group, and the writer is now sharing his story. That's why the story is a narrative within a narrative. So before starting, I like to request you to press the like button, to comment and share the video, and definitely if you are a new one to this channel, please subscribe the channel. So without wasting any time, let's begin. In the previous videos, we have seen that the doctor, he was a homeopathic doctor. He returned from his restaurant, having his lunch in the restaurant, and when he entered his room, we experienced that his room was very in wretched condition. It was not very good, and the doctor was not affluent, as he had just started his medical occupation. And as the story progresses, we also noticed that a snake just fall on his shoulder, and after that his experience, he was benumbed sensation, he was petrified. Also, although he was thinking how to get rid of that situation, still he was finding himself helpless, and he was praying to God silently. So today we will start from paragraph number 9. Let's start. At my slightest movement, the snake would strike me. Death lurked 4 inches away. Suppose it struck, what was the medicine I had to take? There were no medicines in the room. I was but a poor, foolish and stupid doctor. I forgot my danger and smiled feebly at myself. So the very few lines says that the doctor, he was apprehending his death. He said that death lurked. Lurked means death hid. Death hid. It's in past tense, so we should also use the past tense, hid. Death hid 4 inches away, and if the doctor moves a little, probably the snake would hit him. Strike means hit or attack him. Suppose it struck, what was the medicine I had to take? And the doctor had no medicines in this room, and he was a poor, foolish, stupid doctor. He thinks about himself that he was a very foolish doctor, stupid doctor. And for a moment he forgets his danger and smiled weakly at himself. It seemed as if God appreciated that, and it appeared to him as if the God has also appreciated that. That means that the doctor's realization of his mistake. The doctor realized that he had done some mistake. He had no medicine in his room. That's why he had made that mistake. He should have kept the medicine. As he is a doctor, he should have kept the medicine, how to treat a patient who is bitten by a cobra. And as he has made the mistake and he regrets for that, that's why the God, realizing this mistake, appreciated him. So what did the God do? Let's see. The snake turned its head. It looked into the mirror and saw its reflection. I do not claim that it was the first snake that had ever looked into a mirror, but it was certain that the snake was looking into the mirror. So he hoped, he prayed, as he prayed to God, he realized that God probably had appreciated his realization that he had made a mistake. That's why the snake moved its direction and it went to look itself into a mirror. And the doctor doesn't claim that it was the first snake that did this kind of thing. Probably someone may have the same experience of seeing a snake looking itself in the mirror. Was it admiring its own beauty? Was it trying to make an important decision about growing a mustache or using eyeshadow or mascara or wearing a vermilion spot on its forehead? So again, a very funny kind of thought came to the doctor. In that situation also, the doctor was thinking that as he himself was admiring his beauty in the mirror just a minute ago, is it the same thing that is happening with the snake? Is it the snake is the snake thinking about grooming a mustache or making itself look beautiful by wearing a red bindi or a vermilion or sindoor that we call, and thereby making it look very beautiful? I didn't know anything for certain. What sex was this snake? Was it male or female? I will never know, for the snake unwound itself from my arm and slowly slithered into my lap. From there, it crept onto the table and moved towards the mirror. So the doctor was not very sure what was the sex of the snake. Was it a male snake or a female? And he doesn't bother to know. He only realized that the snake very slowly it coiled itself and turned to slither from his arm into his lap, and from his lap it crept onto the table, and they turned towards the mirror. Perhaps it wanted to enjoy its reflection at closer quarters. And again, the funny thinking, the doctor said perhaps the snake wanted to enjoy its reflection at very close look, having a close look. Closer quarters means to have a close look. I was no mere image cut in granite. I was suddenly a man of flesh and blood. Still holding my breath, I got up from the chair. I quietly went out through the door into the veranda. From there, I leaped into the yard and ran for all I was worth. So after that, when the snake was busy looking its reflection in the mirror, the poet he again regained his vigor. He found himself as a man, and he again thought that he was not a granite stone. He was actually a man. He was a man of blood and flesh. That's why he quietly went. He quietly got up from the chair, and he came to the veranda through the door. From there, he jumped into the yard, open space, and ran for all I was worth. It means he ran as fast as he could. All I was worth means with all his ability to run, with all his power, with all his strength, all his ability, he ran. Phew! Each of us heaved a sigh of relief. So it was the tale up to this. The doctor told this, and now phew! Each of us means here the group of the author, our present author, who is retelling the tale narrated by the doctor. So their group, they heaved a sigh on listening the story from the doctor. They heaved a sigh of relief. Somebody asked. Somebody means from the group of the author. Someone of them said. Someone of them asked, "Doctor, is your wife very fat?" As it had been humorously said by the doctor that he would want to marry a very fat girl, a fat woman. "No," the doctor said. "God willed otherwise. My life companion is a thin, reedy person with the gift of a sprinter. So it was not happened accordingly. Man proposes, but God disposes. And it's also here the same thing. The doctor wished to have a very fat wife in order to flee, in order to escape from her when if a situation comes that the wife tries to catch him to punish him if he had done any silly mistake. But the thing turns quite opposite here. God willed otherwise, but God's will was quite different. And the doctor's companion, she is a very thin, reedy person. Reedy means like a thin plant, as of reed. So she was like a very thin plant with the gift of a sprinter. Sprinter means an athlete. So, as the doctor wished to have a fat woman as his wife, it had not been appreciated by God, and his wife is a very thin woman, like an athlete. Someone else asked, "Doctor, when you ran, did the snake follow you?" The doctor replied, "I ran and I ran till I reached a friend's house. Immediately I smeared oil all over myself and took a bath. I changed into fresh clothes. The next morning at about 8:30 I took my friend and one or two others to my room to move my things from there." So the doctor replied on being asked that whether the snake followed him. The doctor said he ran and ran until he reached a friend's house. On reaching the friend's house, he immediately covered his body with oil and he took a bath. He changed his dress there, he changed his clothes there, and at the next morning, about 8:30, he, along with his some friends, he went back to his own room to move his things from there. But we found we had little to carry. See here, the word little. Little is a negative word. That means they had nothing to carry. Had it been a little to carry, that means that would mean something to carry. But it has no article here, a or the, there is no article, so only little here means nothing. So they had nothing to carry. Some thief had removed most of my things. As the doctor fled that night, keeping his room lonely, that's why his room has been stolen, his things had been stolen. The room had been cleaned out, but not really. The thief had left behind one thing as a final result, as a final insult. Okay. See here the tone, it's not result, it's insult. Very humorous here. Some thief have removed all the belongings of the doctor said, but only he left one thing, and it was also like a insult to the doctor. What was that? I asked. The doctor said, "My waist, the dirty one." The fellow had such a sense of cleanliness. The rascal could have taken it and used it after washing it with soap and water. So again, very funny situation is here. The doctor said, although the thief had stolen everything, he left the dirty waist of the doctor. In the very first video in which we have discussed the doctor when he took off his coat, his white shirt and not so white inner garment, that very waist has not been taken by the thief, and the doctor finds it as a kind of insult that the thief had also the taste of some cleanliness. which the doctor hadn't. "Did you see the snake the next day, doctor?" The doctor laughed. "I have never seen it since. It was a snake which was taken with its own beauty." So, after this funny situation that the doctor wished the thief might have taken that dirty waste also, and after washing it with soap and water, he should have worn it that. Someone asked him, "The doctor, did you see the snake the next day?" The doctor laughed and answered that he had never seen it there. From then, he had never seen that. It was a snake which was taken with its own beauty. It was taken means it was bewitched. It was charmed. The snake was charmed with its own beauty. As the snake was watching its reflection in the mirror, so this notion comes to the doctor that as he was also bewitched at his own beauty while looking at the mirror, the same thing happens here also probably for the snake. So the story ends here. You can see here it's the original, it's written in originally Malayalam by V. Abdullah, and it's translated, it's written by Vaikom Muhammad Bashir and translated from the Malayalam by V. Abdullah. So the story ends here, and as I have told you in the very first video that it has a definite message also. So the message is here: a very inanimate object like mirror, it saves the life of the doctor. Had not the mirror been there, and had not the snake was enticed by the mirror while looking at its own reflection, the doctor would have been dead. So the message is here: an inanimate object, however it is very trifle, it can save someone's life. One should not look down upon any trivial thing. Here, in this case, the mirror saves the life of the doctor. So, up to this student, if you have any question, you may please comment me. Write your comment in the comment section. I will try to answer you. So, hoping to meet you in the next video. Goodbye.